Right, welcome back to the Vengacast. Today I'm here again with James.
Hello.
And Adam.
Hello.
Last Thursday the NFL draft started and it finished on Saturday, so we're just going to pretty simply today go through each team and see how we think that they done draft-wise. That sounds
good.
okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Make the same joke every time? No, it doesn't. We're doing something else. Right, sorry.
No.
I'll shut up now.
You can tell the comedy does not come from that.
Wow! Should I just leave?
There's only two other people here. There wasn't many. Like, you didn't have the biggest of audiences.
Everyone else laughed at home, I bet you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're laughing along.
Probably
Should we
laughing
just
at me
get
at this
straight
point. Yeah.
We'll start in the AFC East, and we'll start with the Patriots. James, do you want to take this one first?
Okay, I'll start. Yeah, I thought they had a very good draft. I thought they got in a very good wide receiver, giving Brady another target after Gronk obviously left. So I think they got the receiver they needed, and I rate N'Keal Harry quite a lot as one of the best receivers in the draft, if not the best even, because he's pretty tall, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a big man, and I think that'll suit their play style. And I thought they then just strengthen their team in the rounds after with the positions they kind of needed improvements or backup on. So I thought they did very well.
Yeah. Adam, anything you want to add on the Patriots?
Yeah, just the same as James. They've just added a quality wide receiver, really, and someone that can battle against corners, because that's what they were missing. Edelman, as good as he is, isn't that strong and won't win a lot of 50-50 balls. That's you saw that in the Super Bowl.
They're obviously preparing for Josh Gordon not coming back as well.
Yeah, they are. But you saw that in the Super Bowl. The reason it was all run plays and just short passes down the middle is because they knew their wide receivers couldn't match up to the Rams cornerbacks. So by adding N'Keal Harry, it's just a strong wide receiver.
I guess my main question for the Patriots draft is, in the fourth round they took Jared Stidham from Auburn. Do you think they're just looking at him just to sit on the bench, or do you think they generally see him as a future heir to Tom Brady?
I reckon they probably see some something in him, because obviously you wouldn't get someone unless in the future they could give something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll be close to the team anytime soon, but I mean it gives a backup, and obviously who knows, he might have the potential, and obviously playing under Brady, so
yeah.
They obviously will see something in them. They're taking the quarterback quite late like that. So.
Yeah, definitely. Going on to the Bills then in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you start.
What were they? Number 9th pick to take Ed Oliver. I mean, I had them going to Tampa Bay, but I thought it was a bit of a shock that they didn't take Devin Bush, who was there at the time.
Yeah.
Linebacker, or even Jonah Williams. But it's still an absolute solid player. Just not much more to say. He was just quality.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion anyway, their second round and third round picks are also both quite sort of two players who I was surprised were on the board at that point. I definitely thought Cody Ford was a first round player.
Oh, yeah.
So to get him in the middle of the second round was very good for them. And then David Singletary as well was probably one of the better running backs in the draft. And although I definitely don't think the Bills need any more running backs, it's just another nice little pickup for them, I guess, from Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
Random fact there,
Yeah, let's just agree
Shout
with
out
what you
Florida
guys said.
Atlantic. The worst university in Florida, but still.
Well, you've just annoyed all people that go to that school now, Joe, because they definitely listen.
It's Miami, so who cares? Moving on to Miami.
Are we actually moving on to Miami? Or
Yeah, we actually are.
Right, sound. Okay. We're well organised, as you can tell on the Vengacast.
If you two want to know the list I'm going through, I've literally just went on NFL.com and I'm just following that order.
I'm going to find that. Just how well prepared we are. I just had all the first team.
But no,
all
next.
the first rounders.
So the Dolphins' first rounder was Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle from Clemson.
Yeah, I think they've got a very good player now. He's obviously.
Is that who you wanted, or was that someone else?
You wanted Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
They were. It was very unlikely they were going to fall that far because when you're a good team, you don't get a draft pick that high.
Especially him. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, and I think the Dolphins never really replaced like Su.
Yeah.
So I think like this is a player that can come in and help that and kind of fill that gap that's been like needed to like be filled. So I thought they got a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, was it second or third round? They took a Wisconsin boy. So.
Yeah. They actually traded. And, I guess we'll talk about this as well. They traded that second rounder for Josh Rosen.
Yeah, I thought that was
what do you both make of that trade?
I think that's a really, really good trade.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade because obviously he's out of
have a job.
Well, they don't want him at Arizona anymore. Obviously, with their draft pick. So,
do you think it was a better move for Rosen or a better move for the Dolphins?
Better for Rosen.
Both.
Well, yeah, like you say, it works for both.
Rosen had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he came into last year's draft as a top quarterback. So I think just giving up a second round pick is
it's a cheap pickup for the Dolphins to get a good. I think what is a good quarterback, seriously good quarterback.
Well, yeah. Well, I know a lot of people argued that if he was in this quarterback class, he probably would have been the second or even the best, potentially.
I don't think he's better than Kyler Murray. There's something about Kyler Murray that just makes him better.
Just that sort of athleticism.
Yeah. I wouldn't put him as the best, but I put him in the top 5 at least. Maybe the top 3
definitely.
even.
Yeah. A lot of people think Miami are just sort of going to tank this year and maybe go for a top quarterback in next year's draft class. Do you think that'll be the case now?
I think they won't tank in the first few games. I think they'll see how Rosen performs and whether they do see him as a future quarterback. Yeah,
because I think he really needs to prove himself because I think Miami will not think twice about if they have the option of, I don't know, Tua or one of the top quarterbacks available there next year. I think they would definitely take one of them if they do have the number 1 pick. So Rosen really needs to prove himself early on, I think.
100%, yeah. I think they'll see how the first few games with him go and whether they see that he will be a future quarterback starter for them or not.
Moving on, then the last team, the AFC East, they're probably a team who had one of the quieter drafts outside of having the number 3 overall, where they took Quinnen Williams, the Jets.
I rated this pickup very highly. I think Quinnen Williams showed how quality he was in college, and I think he's the second best football player in the draft.
Yeah, because a lot of people were arguing he was the best.
Yeah,
I thought he was the best.
I have Nick Bosa just above him, but
but
obviously different positions. It's hard to say, but I mean, I think it's a very good pickup, and it'll help the Jets to put pressure on opposition quarterbacks because I think he'll be a beast. So I think it's a very good one.
The Jets just had like you said, Joe, just a quiet draft where they picked up who they needed to pick up and didn't make any daft trades that when we were sitting there kind of going what are they doing?
I think cleverly the Jets sort of they filled all their needs in free agency, so they didn't really have any positions to address when the draft came around, so they could just take the best player available at number 3.
Yeah.
And obviously then just done business for the rest of the draft. And their first third-round pick was Ja'Kai Polite, who before the Combine was predicted to go between 10 and 20th in the first round, and he fell to them at 68. So despite his sort of issues that the Combine and his Pro Day brought up, is that a steal for them?
I think it is, yeah, because you can't judge everything on the Combine now. You've got to watch film and before his combine, he's proved himself to be a top 10 to 20 pick. So people, that'll be from
and also,
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also that like combine stuff isn't like game situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Game situation's more, I think, important to get out of a play. And he showed that he was like one of the best linebackers in college. So
Yeah.
I think they've got a steal with it.
Moving on then at AFC North then. We'll start with the Ravens.
Who did they take in the first round?
They went Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they did very well to get him where they did. And I think it's a very good pickup. And it'll definitely help their offense this season and give them an extra threat.
Yeah, especially with the loss of Crabtree, was it?
Yeah, Crabtree.
With the loss of Crabtree, filling a gap that needed to be filled.
Yeah. I mean, can you maybe see the Ravens, because there's a lot of talk about the Browns being the dominant team, and will the Steelers continue? I think people quickly forget the Ravens won that division last season, and they haven't got that much weaker, despite losing a few defensive pieces, but they have brought other stars back in. So do you think the Ravens are maybe being a bit slept on for this, like, the upcoming season? Now that they do have weapons, such as Marquise Brown as well.
You go, James?
I think Cleveland's going to take the division.
I don't think they will. Not this year. Looking at their schedule, now that their schedule's out, they've got one of the hardest in the league, and I don't think, not this year, I don't see the Browns taking the division. I think it will be the Ravens over the Steelers, though.
Oh yeah, the Steelers, I don't think will be up there.
I mean, James, you were saying to me you thought the Bengals were going to win.
Oh, Super Bowl, you know.
Yeah. But no, I think the Ravens have a good chance, and I think they definitely took the best player in the first round that was available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Ravens have some really good weapons on offense now. Next then is the Steelers, who surprisingly traded up in the first round to number 10 to take Devin Bush.
I was really surprised with this.
Yeah, a really odd trade there.
Yeah, do you think it was worth moving up 10 spots to get Devin Bush?
Not for what they lost for it, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they must see something very special in him.
Mm-hmm.
What did they gave away though? Like a ridiculous number of picks for it though to the Broncos.
To the Broncos, yeah.
I think they ended up losing 3 draft picks for it, and I think Devin Bush probably would have survived to 22 or whenever they had
20. They literally
yeah.
just had pick 20. Yeah.
I think he would have stayed in the draft until 20.
Yeah, I mean they did need to find a replacement for Ryan Shazier, but they obviously saw him as the best man for that, and that's maybe why they traded up. But I definitely agree with you. For the price that he came at to move up, just to take him, I think you could have probably found someone of a similar quality where they were at 20, and maybe even still move up. Because I think Devin Bush, like you said, Adam, would have dropped down below 10, but I don't know. Maybe they could have moved up to 15 or 14 or somewhere like that.
Yeah, something must have panicked them. They must have heard chat or something like that someone was planning to take.
I mean, fair play, though. They went out and got their main man who they wanted, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, they didn't really make any major moves.
Nah.
Next, Cleveland Browns.
No
first-round picks.
I barely had a draft because of us.
But you could argue one of the biggest steals in the second round when they got Greedy Williams.
Yeah, when I saw he'd gone to them in the second round, I was shocked. Especially how much James loves him.
Yeah, obviously. I watched him a lot last year, like for this year. And I've rated him very highly. Because the Colts did take a cornerback with our early second round pick, and I thought we'd take a cornerback or a defensive tackle, and I was surprised not to see it be like Greedy Williams, so I would have liked, but I think we got a good pick anyway. But I think Greedy Williams is like a very good player, and I think definitely a pick 46. They're still getting as if it was like a first round pick, pretty much with his quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, not got much else to add. I just agree with James.
Yeah, once again, similar to a lot of teams in this division, it was very first and second round heavy. They didn't really make any surprising moves or any steals in the later rounds. So Well, as we think at the minute, obviously it'll all change. And then the final team in this division, the Bengals, who made a lot of picks.
I had a lot.
Their first round pick was Jonah Williams, tackle out of Alabama.
Quality. Good
Yeah.
pick. Especially for 11. I thought he was going to go a lot earlier than 11.
Yeah. And O-line was the Bengals' biggest need by a mile.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, and they went out and got like a very good one, obviously. And yeah, as you said, it's what they needed. So I thought they'd done well, and I think they took a decent tight end, didn't they, in round, was it 2?
Yeah,
it was Drew Sample.
Mm-hmm.
So
the most interesting pick I think the Bengals made was in the 4th round. They took Ryan Finley, the quarterback from North Carolina State. Do you think he has potential to be a starter for them? Obviously, with a lot of question marks around Andy Dalton at the minute.
No.
You don't think it could be similar to? I'm thinking of a few years back when Dak Prescott was took in the later rounds by the Cowboys.
Don't talk to me about Dak Prescott.
But I'm just using him as an example. He came in and became a pretty decent starter for them, and still is starting for them now. So you don't think something similar could happen here?
He's a good quarterback, but not for Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and I mean the city and the location. Like,
right.
I saw like review on him and stuff like that, and he can't put a lot of speed on the ball downfield. And up in the division he's in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, all outside stadiums can get really cold and really windy. They're going to struggle away from home.
Yeah, you sound like Klopp.
Oh, someone's
done their research. I'm telling you. Shock you all here, like.
Adam's like, it's on average it's 5 degrees in Pittsburgh.
No, but it's like I saw it was literally they've just drafted a younger Andy Dalton. That's all they've done here, I think.
Ryan Finley, is he ginger? With a name like that, it just sounds ginger, doesn't he?
Wow.
I'm just trying to think.
Didn't expect that on the Vengacast.
He does.
Discrimination.
It's going to come back and bite you that, like...
No, I'm actually looking.
You're actually Googling whether Ryan Finley's ginger.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's sort of getting there. No, but
the same way Liam says he's sort of ginger.
No, fully.
Fully ginger.
Yeah. Oh, well. Next, James, your division. AFC South.
Yes, sir.
Should we... We'll leave you to last, actually. We'll start with the Texans.
Good, because that's where they're going to finish.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll start with the Texans. What do you think about what they did? They made a very interesting pick in the first round. They moved up to take Titus Howard.
We were there at 3:00 in the morning or something, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Going like, what are they doing?
Yeah, we were like, who are they going to take? There's a few good options here.
I went to bed at that point. I was like, no, I'm done here. I just went to bed.
You're like, yeah, that's the same for me.
Yeah, this is where I thought Cody Ford would go. So.
Yeah, this is probably where he should have went. I mean, they've obviously saw something in Titus Howard, but it's not who anyone expected. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, with a lot of good options still left on the board, I thought it was weird they'd take him.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans didn't really make any standout picks.
And their issue
was one of the worst drafts.
Yeah, their issue was Deshaun Watson last season got sacked a huge amount. So, and you'd think they'd go for a star O-lineman.
I mean, some people are even suggesting that Titus Howard won't actually start for them.
Really
which
weird.
Makes no sense, wasting a first-round pick on the non-starter for me. But it's up to the Texans. They know what they're doing, no one else does.
Yeah.
Next, we'll move on to the Titans, whose home draft it was.
It's a weird draft.
Did they do well on their home draft?
Well, they got ripped apart by the Colts announcers.
That was Pat McAfee. What a hero. How do you pronounce it? McAfee or McAfee? Or...
McAfee,
yeah,
McAfee.
What a hero.
Yeah.
That's one of the best draft announcements I think I've ever seen. Hands down.
Yeah, it was good. And also the guy before, Freely or whatever his name was. Before that.
Yeah, they were all on form, like.
Yeah. But I thought they got a very good defensive tackle in Jeffrey Simmons. Sounds.
Yeah, I think the Titans are maybe a sleeper for one of the best drafts because I think they got 3 players in particular that, in my opinion, could become very good NFL players in Jeffrey Simmons, AJ Brown, and Amani Hooker. I think they could all become very good players. I think Amani Hooker is probably one of the biggest sleepers of the draft overall.
Yeah, and I think taking AJ Brown as late as they did, picked 51.
Yeah, because a lot of people see him as a lot of people see him as the second best wide receiver after Marquise Brown.
And also, I think I mentioned this quite a lot in the draft podcast, like the prediction one.
Yeah.
About is it Simons or Simmons? Simmons.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL recently, so I mean,
everyone
had him going a lot higher. Yeah. A lot of people say that he was going to go a lot higher, so I think they've got a very good player if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. The Jags, who got a very good first round pick in Josh Allen.
Yeah.
How
another Josh Allen?
I was going to say how did Josh Allen manage to fall to the Jags, but we all know how.
All right.
So how good is he going to be for them then?
Yeah, shout out to whoever was at 6 and went.
You shouldn't be saying shout out. You're going to have to play him twice a year.
No, I think they've done very well to get him. I think they'll be very happy with it. Yeah, and I also think taking Jawan Taylor at 35, I think I even had him top 10 for me.
Well, yeah, I think most people had Jacksonville taking him at 7, and they managed to get him in the second round.
I think he was their original plan to take it at 7, and then when they saw the Giants take that guy, what's his name? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. We'll get on to him.
It was take it, and 6 is well, we might as well take Josh Allen if he's still here. There's no point letting him go up to someone else.
Yeah. Other than that, they took Gardner Minshew, backup quarterback for Nick Foles. I mean, is that all he'll end up being, do you think? Obviously, how late he was.
Yeah. At the moment, anyway.
Yeah, I think he'll just learn off Nick Foles for a while. Just learn off him, really. Learn how he reads defences. Pretty much.
Yeah, and we'll finish off with the Colts.
The
first rounders.
The boys.
The who? Never heard of them. Very relevant.
Did you...
A team that made playoffs.
Did you like...
How many Super Bowls you won?
What, Joe?
Did you like that you traded out of the first round? Was that a smart move to make?
Yeah, I think it was. Because we also picked up a second round pick next year, which obviously, as we all know, second round picks can still get some
they're still pretty much as good as first round picks, to be honest.
Yeah, literally.
In most scenarios.
There's so much quality coming out of the drafts these days.
Yeah.
And I thought we literally filled the positions we need. I think the only position is like defensive tackle that we didn't really get, which is what I kind of wanted in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But getting Paris Campbell at wide receiver was very, very good at 59. Especially with his speed. He's one of the fastest.
You needed that position there because you haven't really got a good wide receiver, do you?
I was going to say, do you think...
You piped down that. We threw the second squad.
Good chance.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be an instant starter, Paris Campbell, as wide receiver 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think we will take quite a lot because there's also Hines and Chester Rogers who did well last year.
Yeah.
And I think they'll all be rotating a bit. But yeah, I see him playing a bit on the opposite side to T.Y.
Assuming Rockison fulfills the potential that everyone thinks he has, where would you rank your secondaries, within every secondary in the league?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that? It cut out.
Where would you rank your sort of secondary units based on, just including all secondary units in the league? Where would you put it?
I think after the last season, I have us quite high. And I still think there's a lot, we had gaps, which I think we filled well in the draft. In terms of cornerback, we've already got 2 very good players there, in my opinion. And I think taking him at 34 is just improving the second.
Yeah. Coming out of the AFC South.
Sorry?
What were you saying? Just keep going.
No. Yeah, I think in this, like, in terms of our secondary, like, it was strong last year. I think we just strengthened that massively.
Yeah. So would you say it's maybe top 5 in the league, or is that pushing it, or is that fair?
I think last year was, like, up there. It's about if we can perform again, because before the season, like, it was obviously very low, like, ranked. So if they can perform again, they're like the same guys that perform, the same youngsters. Have obviously, like, Darius Leonard and stuff came in and had amazing years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if they all perform well and these rookies can learn quickly, and I think it is definitely up there.
Yeah. Moving on to the AFC Western, final AFC division. We'll start with the Broncos. A huge shout for team with the best draft. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've done very, very well.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Which pick out of all of theirs was the best for both years?
I think. You go
I was going to say Drew Lock at 42.
Yeah. I think on the position they took him, like, in the draft at 42.
Yeah.
I think it's an unbelievable pick.
Do you think he could start this season?
No.
I don't think he'll.
No, I don't think he'll start.
Flacco. So I think he'll, like, obviously it'll depend on how Flacco gets on. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
He'll be ready, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then ahead of Drew Lock, literally one pick ahead, they took Dalton Risner. How good's he? They needed a defensive lineman from, and I think a lot of people had him going sort of early 20s in the first round, so another steal for the Broncos here.
Yeah, I think that's another very good pickup for them.
Yeah.
It's another good pickup for them, especially at the time they got him.
Obviously, Noah Fant. Most people could argue best tight end available in the whole draft. So, yeah, I think the Broncos definitely had a very good draft and probably are one of the sort of standouts for the best draft overall.
Yeah, I agree.
The Chargers. The Chargers in general have had a very good off-season. I think that this draft just strengthened it even more, especially their first 2 picks were huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think taking Jerry Tillery or whatever it was. Tillery. I was shocked because I thought they were going to take a cornerback at 28. They took a safety in the second round. I think just having that defensive tackle just to put pressure on opposition quarterbacks, it's never a bad option to kind of put pressure on the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just echo what Adam said, really. I think it'll give them that extra pressure on opposition quarterbacks. So I think it's a good pickup at that stage.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with rushing a quarterback.
Yeah, and Nasir Adley, who they took in the second round, safety from Delaware, wanted the Packers to take him, and with our 30th pick originally in the first round. So the fact he's felt them at pick 60 is a very, very nice pickup for them. That safety duo now with Adley and Derwin James that's one hell of a secondary unit. So young as well, but I know. I'm literally just reading here. Some people are saying they could themselves become the next sort of Legion of Boom style secondary unit, sort of what Seattle had a few years ago. And probably the most interesting pick that the Chargers took was, as it seems to be a sort of similar theme with a lot of teams who have sort of aging quarterbacks or teams who need a quarterback in the future, near future, but don't want to take one just yet. Sort of taking a average quarterback in the later rounds, and they took Easton Stick in the 5th round. He'll sit behind Rivers and Tyrod Taylor this year, but do you think he has a future ever starting for the Chargers?
Possibly in the future.
I think because Rivers is getting old now. I think he's on his way out, and then they'll put Taylor in before him. They'll see how Taylor performs.
Yeah, I mean Tyrod Taylor's been around for years as well, so they know that they can rely on him if Rivers gets injured or isn't feeling it 1 week or something.
leeway to wait for a good quarterback to come in the draft that they could use as like the proper replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think when that time comes, they'll just use they'll move up and take their future quarterback then?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The Raiders probably took the first surprise pick of the draft when they took Cleveland Farrell at number 4. Can you think of warranting that pick in a way? Do you think it made sense?
No.
I was surprised because I thought there was a better one. I think he's very good, but I mean, not at that pick. I mean, I think there was later ones that were,
definitely later picks.
there was like ones that went after that I rated higher.
Why do you think the Raiders took him at number 4 then? Because they obviously they thought someone else was going to take him before, their next pick, which was at 24. So, but do you think they sort of could have traded down even? Like, why do you think they took him at number 4?
To mess up everyone's mock draft.
I think the team at number 6 did that well enough for us.
Screw over my bet as well. That's what they did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah, I think they obviously. I rated him highly. I think it was like a late 15 to 20 kind of first round pick. They could have saw something in him that they wouldn't have got at 24. So
I think they probably could have got him at 24.
Well, I think they've wasted the 4th pick there. They could have easily moved down to 14, or maybe even a bit lower than that and took him.
Easily, if they really wanted him, they could have easily traded down a bit, up some later round picks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other than Cleveland Farrell, though, I think they had another good draft. I think Joshua Jacobs was just a standard, easy choice for them at 24. They desperately needed a running back, and he was by far the best running back this year.
Better than Saquon.
No.
I'm joking. I'm not even stupid enough to say that.
And then with their 27th pick, they took Jonathan Abram, safety. And then in the second round, they took a cornerback in Trayvon Mullen. So they've massively improved their secondary as well. Do you think with all the picks that they've had in the off-season that they've had, the Raiders could surprise a lot of people this year and maybe make playoffs?
Not in the division they're in. I don't think so.
Yeah, not in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, with Tyreek Hill out, you never know what's happening to the Chiefs.
Yeah, but I think the Chargers are too strong as well.
Yeah, I don't think they're good enough to make it to a wild card, and I don't see them beating the Chargers.
Also, so much changes happened like really quickly, so it'll be hard to make it all click.
Definitely. If the chemistry isn't right straight away, it's not going to be right for a while.
Yeah. Finally, then. Finishing on the Kansas City Chiefs, who had a very quiet draft. There's almost nothing to talk about here.
No first round.
No, well, there are 2 second rounders, but no one really special, or no one who you really heard being in conversation to be a first rounder.
Well, I'm going to guess that Hardman is now going to start. Yeah. Not a number 1 wide receiver, but he's still going to start nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't beat up his kid, he should be all right.
The Stellar of all teams.
Yep. The literally, if Stella or 12 is a team, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, there's literally nothing to talk about for the Chiefs in terms of the draft. Do you think they should have made more of the draft, though? Obviously, they're going to want to at least do the same as what they done last year and make the AFC final.
Yeah, but they won't beat the Colts this time.
But so that's what I'm saying. To beat teams like the Colts, did they maybe not utilise the draft as much as they should have?
Not being biased, but
I think that. I just don't think they've done enough with the draft.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. I mean, obviously they lost their first rounder because they traded for Frank Clark. Do you think that was the right move to make?
No.
The Chiefs' cap space is going to be absolutely ruined next season.
Or when Mahomes wants paid. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, they'll be looking at a new contract for him next season. And if he proves himself not to be a one-season wonder, it's he's going to be looking at a $200 million contract, I think. And
Yeah.
the Chiefs don't have that money to give to him without cut
No, they're gonna have to get rid of
their
few people.
entire roster, probably.
Like, who's left? It's like, you know, that Will Smith meme where he's just looking around
Yeah.
the room. That's just
Yeah.
Mahomes on his first day back.
It's just him and Chris Jones left. That's it.
Yeah,
Poor
no
Chris
one
Jones.
else. Chris Jones deserves paid. Chris Jones should get paid before Mahomes.
They put the wrong names on the contract.
Yeah,
Oh,
should go into the NFC.
yeah, let's do it.
The superior league.
I mean, you didn't even win the Pro Bowl, so
All right.
the AFC won the Pro Bowl. So
Who's won more Super Bowls?
Does anyone take the Pro Bowl?
no, but I
seriously?
mean that's kind of the only thing you can go off. An AFC team won the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, but NFC.
Yeah, they always win it. They don't count.
NFC's won it more times overall.
God, you love this history talk, don't you?
What can I say? I'm the Liverpool fan of of American football.
Right, we're starting in the NFC East with the Eagles.
Fuck 'em.
Right, how'd the Eagles do? I thought the Eagles did
No,
very
they
well,
didn't.
to be honest.
No.
I thought they done well. Yeah,
No.
I thought they picked up a good
No.
O lineman in Dillard.
No, they didn't.
I was
Yeah.
kind of expecting
Really.
them to go around
We'll
that
have to
time.
take lead.
Who was the 23rd pick? Because I saw
Texans.
The 23rd.
Yeah,
It was
the Texans.
yeah.
I heard the Texans wanted Dillard, and the Eagles literally stole him.
Well, what I thought was very interesting was with their second round pick, the Eagles took Penn State starting running back.
And
Ring a bell.
no one cares. No one cares about Penn State now that Barkley's left.
That's what I'm trying to pin at. He was there starting.
I know
running back. They've copied you.
They are. That's what
I
the
thought you
Eagles
said you
trying to be.
supported Penn State, Adam.
Right, I'm getting into it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very good pick for them. Although they did sign Jordan Howard in the off season, that running back. Do you think that they did need another one?
I think Miles Sanders is a good pickup because
Yeah.
and it's good to have like more than one option.
I think the Eagles needed positions filled elsewhere before they, like their secondary isn't great.
Yeah. They didn't take any secondary players
I
in the
think
draft.
that's really odd because they needed help in the secondary.
Yeah, and then once again, this is another team who took a really late round quarterback, Clayton Thorson. Once again, do you just think this is just filling up that backup
Yeah, I
roster
think
spot?
it's an insurance for when Carson Wentz gets injured this
Yeah,
season.
that's all. Like, if he gets injured, we've got a youngster who can come in and do whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
After the Eagles, then the Redskins.
No, awful as well.
Yeah, I thought they had a
Shocking.
very good draft.
Yeah.
I think they had the best draft.
Draft like number 15, they took the quarterback that the Giants should have taken if they wanted one. So I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I actually can't. I never thought I'd say this because literally in the off season, these are probably the two worst teams. But just because of what's happened with the Giants quarterback situation and Dwayne Haskins, I cannot wait for Redskins versus Giants next season.
It's fun.
Just to see what Dwayne Haskins plays like in sort of two revenge games against the Giants.
Barkley will run all over them again, so it's okay.
ooh,
He only did that in once. So
I mean, Dwayne Haskins isn't going to be facing Barkley then.
no, we're actually going to put Barkley in linebacker.
Yeah. To be fair, when you look at Barkley, he probably could
He
play
genuinely could.
also in the first round though, because
Yeah.
they traded back into
Monte.
it, and they got one of the steals of the draft in Montez Sweat
definitely.
at 26.
I don't know why
Yeah.
we didn't take him at
It's a
17.
massive pickup for them.
The Redskins literally took everyone I wanted the Giants to take. And it's really
awkward.
Yeah,
It's genuinely
literally when
annoying.
you had your two first round picks, and they've took the two people you
Don't
wanted.
forget who they took in the off season as well.
Oh yeah, God, they really have just done a number on you this year. It's almost like you must just hate the Redskins.
No, they're
now.
still irrelevant, realistically. So it doesn't matter.
People are gonna remember that quote now.
You're irrelevant. I mean, in the NFC East, with the Cowboys and the Eagles, they're not making playoffs.
I also thought for the Redskins, I think the fact that Kelvin Harmon fell to the 6th round, the wide receiver from North Carolina, He's such a good wide receiver, such a good player.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a steal in the 6th round. And same with Bryce Love in round 4. He's such a good running back as well, just to sit behind what's the Redskins running back called?
Adrian
I
Peterson.
forgot his name. Yeah, Peterson. Just to sit behind him and learn from him. I think he could be very good in a few years.
I'll talk about it when we get to the Giants.
Sound.
Yeah. Nothing else to say on the Redskins then, just a very good
They're
draft.
irrelevant. There, we're done.
Fairs. The Cowboys, another team who done almost nothing.
Yeah. I think they picked up good players.
They did take one very interesting
UCF.
pick out of Miami.
Oh.
They took Michael Jackson out of Miami, the cornerback, in the 5th round. Other than that, their highest pick was 58, so they couldn't really do much. But at 58, they made a very good pick. They took Tristan Hill out of UCF, who is an absolute quality player. That is a complete steal at 58. So Cowboys fans can look forward to him.
Yeah, I thought they'd done well with the picks they had. I thought they picked up good players, but it's not. I don't know too much about them all, so not much I can comment.
Mm-hmm. Just like James said, with what they've done well with what they had, really.
Yeah.
Moving on to the one.
Last but not least, Adam, I'll let you share your thoughts on
Let's
the
listen
Giants.
to this rant.
And Trey.
Right, I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie. When I first saw us take Daniel Jones, I was furious. I was genuinely so annoyed watching that.
I think every Giants fan was. I've seen the reaction videos.
I'd have been fine with us taking. We wanted a quarterback, and I know we wanted a quarterback, and I'd have been fine with us taking him at 17 at a push, but not at 6.
Well, you traded back
at
30. You could have got my 30.
Yeah, we genuinely could have got.
Fucking got him at like 245.
Hey, we didn't have pick number 204. Oh no, we did have pick number 245.
You did.
Chris Slayton.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch the late rounds.
Yeah, I mean,
but when I was thinking about it, I would rather be in Daniel Jones's position now than Dwayne Haskins, because there's no pressure on Jones to come in and be a starter on week 1 when there is on Haskins.
But then, why take Matt 6 then?
There's clearly something Dave Gettleman and Pat Shermer see in Jones.
Cocaine, that's it.
There's something about him that they see, they like, and they clearly didn't want to risk it at 17 or at 245. And I personally would have.
According to Gettleman, there was at least 2 teams he knows that we're going to take them between 6 and 17. Do you believe it?
I think there could have been. When you looked at the teams, there was the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Redskins,
the Bengals.
And the Bengals. Yeah, all of them could have taken a quarterback, so they clearly didn't want to run the risk.
But then I've seen a lot of people still saying at the same time, it's like, even if that's true, just the fact that he's rated Daniel Jones higher than Drew Lock and higher than Dwayne Haskins makes zero sense.
If they had both gone, no one would complain about this, I'm telling you. But the fact that Dwayne Haskins and Drew Lock were both still in the draft. But Daniel Jones came from Duke, which isn't a football college, which is part of an issue.
Yeah.
But to still be able to win games with Duke, who had really poor wide receivers, just shows that he's determined. And I think in the future, maybe, he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he will survive in the NFL.
James, do you think that's what sort of Gettleman was thinking? Do you think he thought he was taking Zion?
I think so. I think he just saw the Duke and he was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, he just went to the draft staff like, take that kid from Duke. He's meant to be really good. And they're like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, Zion. They're like, oh, no.
The thing is, I woke up the next day and saw that the Giants took Daniel Jones. I was like, yeah, that's a good quarterback to take. And I'm guessing at in the second round.
30.
But with Drew Lock available at 30 as well.
I think if you took my 30, no one would.
No, that's what I'm saying. No one would. I don't know. If Kyler Murray wasn't in the draft and the Oakland Raiders took Drew Lock and the Arizona Cardinals took Dwayne Haskins and we took Daniel Jones at 6, no one would have cared. It's the
Yeah.
fact he came so early before the other two that were left that people are complaining. But I still think he's a decent quarterback. He won games with a shocking team around him, and I feel bad for him that he's getting so much hate for being chosen. It's not his fault.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
reckon,
It's not his fault at
Yeah,
all.
I reckon you guys, like the Giants fans, just need to get behind him. Because
Yeah,
obviously,
that's what we need to do. The best thing we can do now is just support him. It's not going to change.
I don't think it's going to
so
happen.
I think
though.
it's very clear that he's a good quarterback. But
I don't think. I don't want to say you'll boo him,
I don't think we will.
but I think you'll boo Gettleman because of him.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a very much a
But,
Mike Ashley situation here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Just because the most disappointing thing from an outsider thinking about, like, in terms of the Giants, is that Dwayne Haskins,
It's a giant. Yeah,
other than him being the second best quarterback there, and the best one was took number one. He's a Giants fan. He's from New Jersey, next to the MetLife Stadium.
I know.
You know, like it all just seemed to fit so well together, and they just passed on him to take who was in most people's eyes a second round
and
quarterback.
also with Haskins as well, like before the whole MLB switch on Kyler Murray, everyone had Haskins as the top quarterback. So
Yeah, some people even had Cardinals taking Haskins number one.
Also, there you go.
It'd be less salt in the wound if we just hadn't taken a quarterback. If we'd taken Rashan Gary or a wide receiver. If we had taken not a quarterback, we'd been like, well, that's fair enough. We needed to sort our defense out.
And also, I think Eli Manning's good enough for like another year.
Yeah, he is.
And I think I think it's quite inevitable that you'll probably have a high pick next year, and you could have picked up a very good quarterback next year with a lot of good people.
What is good is that Daniel Jones and Eli Manning are friends, and they train in the off season together.
Ooh.
So,
I agree with what a lot of people are saying, and it is kind of weirdly true. Daniel Jones literally looks like he could be like a man and brother.
It's odd.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you see what Gettleman said as well? Maybe a bit of a racist statement in some people's eyes. He said Daniel Jones just looks like a good quarterback.
Oh no.
And everyone was a bit like, not the best thing to say.
Imagine if it was like Daniel Jones and Drew Lock just look like better quarterbacks than Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. You would have been.
I'd have been absolutely furious if Kyler Murray had fallen to us and we didn't take him. There's no way I could have argued Daniel Jones's position there.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, outside of Daniel Jones, I think your next 5 picks were all absolutely brilliant picks.
But no one cares about them because of him.
Yeah, but it's just overshadowed by how stupid that pick was. Because I think Dexter Lawrence,
he's
quality. Obviously, James, you were singing his praises very high before the draft.
I thought he was I didn't think he'd reach the Colts, but he's someone that I thought potentially could, and I thought it'd be a steal. That's kind of the player I wanted, because obviously the other defensive tackles I thought weren't getting near us. Mm-hmm. So that's the one I kind of targeted, wanted. But yeah.
I don't know if moving back into the first round was worth it for taking DeAndre Baker, but I think that actual pick of DeAndre Baker was very good again.
We've got a full new wave of secondary now. We picked up 3 new cornerbacks in this draft. And I saw an interview with Pat Shermer saying that Janoris Jenkins has a lot of teaching to do. And that's what we're doing. Because Jenkins is getting a bit older now as well. And what we've done this off-season in this draft is but looked at the future of our secondary.
Yeah.
Except for the
after that, in round 3, another absolute steal, in my opinion, is Shawnee Zimenez, who in most people's eyes is one of the best left-backs in this draft, and you managed to get him in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Very good pick again.
From our very first pick at 6 to 171, we just went for defense only, and that was our major issue.
But I think they were all good.
Yeah, they were.
Even after that, you mentioned your secondary, building on that again. Julian Love, even though he won't be an instant starter, he could easily fill Janoris Jenkins' shoes in a few years' time.
But with the Giants, we lost too many games by just being outscored, and just to have O'Shane come in, I don't even want to attempt his surname. Just to have him come in, it'll just be quite. I don't think he'll be a starter, Maybe.
I think he will. He's really good.
We'll just have to see.
Most people had him going in the
with the
second
loss
round in mock
with the
drafts
loss
and
of Vernon as
etc.
well. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
And then obviously Ryan Conley in round 5. Another
Quality
very good
linebacker,
linebacker pickup.
We've needed to deal with the whole linebacker situation for a while now. They've been poor. The only thing we haven't sorted is that O-line. I know we got someone at in the 7th round, but that our O-line was the main issue, and we got Zietler. But how much can one guy do?
Yeah. Moving on to the AFC North then. Outside
for ages, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
That's
Another fall asleep.
It's fine.
All right, shut up then.
We'll start with the Bears.
Great team, best team in the NFC North.
Yeah, definitely. With their picks, I thought they picked up some good players. I think Montgomery's not a very good running back, and they picked up a very good wide receiver.
Do you think? I thought Montgomery was a bit of a waste because Shuley's not going to start for them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always good to have 2 good running backs because it's
swap style.
Unless you've got someone like Barkley. I mean,
yeah, he was just never going to get dropped out.
He's quite good.
Quite.
I couldn't be too nice. And then I think at pick number, was it 126? I think Riley Ridley was a steal at that late stage. I think he's a very good wide receiver. So yeah, and not too much I can say on the others, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Riley Ridley was a really good pick for them. It's just a shame that he's under a poor quarterback and he's going to get his career wasted. So I feel more sorry for him, but for the actual team, I think that was a very good pick to take a chance on.
Not going to come.
Next, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think they took. Obviously, we talked about Fant before, but I think I'll equal the best tight end with Fant. Obviously, I think they picked up a very good player. And someone they needed to strengthen the offense, even though they did put up 30 points against the Packers. But I'm joking. I just needed to start digging someone. No, I think it's a very good pick. But yeah, I don't know too much about that.
I also really I think that second round pick was really good as well. Jelani Tavai from, I think he was from Hawkeye, which was a very interesting school to come from. So fair play to him for getting taken in the second round. Obviously, they saw something in him, and it'll be good to see how well he does next year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, other than that, not too many interesting picks or big names.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Next, the Vikings.
Second best team in the NFC North.
Third, don't you mean Detroit?
Oh yeah, third. So Detroit are pretty decent as well.
I'd say fourth. Trust us, they're going to flop this year.
Okay, I think Garrett Bradbury was a very good pickup. Not surprised by it. I thought, they'll be happy with that. And I think also took a decent tight end. So, and they took a running back as well, didn't they?
They did.
So I think they had a good draft. I think they picked up players they needed in positions they needed. So
yeah,
standards for the Vikings.
I think they getting a centre, because what happened with the Vikings too many times last year is Kirk Cousins took too long to throw the ball, because a lot of their playbook is deep plays to Thielen and Diggs, and therefore it could take them time to drop their man. So they just gave Cousins an extra half a second just to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Avoid a sack.
Finishing off with the Green Bay Packers.
Just awful.
There's your dig.
I think Packers had one of the best drafts. I think they've done very well to get Gary at 12. I thought...
Just Gary.
Okay, so Rashawn.
Out of context. Gary?
Lineker.
Gary from down the front.
But Gaza.
War Gaza.
Gaza G-Shaw was a good pickup at number 12. So, and I think taking 21 Savage at number 21 was pretty good as well.
yeah, we had to. That's why we done it. We purely moved up to 21 just to take Savage.
It just ruined it by not getting the shirt number, but I think Jenkins was also a good pickup. I think definitely one of the top drafts went to Packers, in my opinion.
I think the Packers of this off-season and the draft have all been about getting to the quarterback. Like,
That's what we struggled the
Yeah.
most with last year, obviously.
Trubisky is going to have a hell of a time against yous.
As
You've
usual.
got two new linebackers or
He'll
edge
dominate
rushers
as
or
usual.
something.
Yeah. 2 new edges.
Yeah.
Well, 3
You
now
got-
if you include Gary.
Yeah, and I think Stafford, Cousins, and Trubisky are going to be on their asses a lot this season.
Just Gary.
I also think, just Gary. I also think a very underrated pick for us is Jay Sternberger because we really needed a tight end, and we didn't fall into the trap of being tempted to take the 2 big name ones and wasting a first round pick. We waited patiently and got obviously Sternberger in the, I think it was the 4th round.
Third round.
Oh, 3rd round. So to get him that late on, decent work for us.
Yeah, very good.
Standard.
Well done.
Average, good
That's
draft.
good thing I can.
NFC.
Good. I was going to say good start for Matt LaFleur. And great off season, I think, for you guys.
Big man.
He obviously knew the defense was awful, so he's done well.
NFC South. We'll start with the Saints.
The Saints.
Yeah, they didn't have it
they
first.
took.
They took Eric McCoy 48.
Just the same as what we said about the Texans, I think it was, is they've done well with the positions they had. I think they've got a B-Tech Saquon at pick 177. I think.
I was like, which running back did they take? And then I realised why I said that.
They've got a B-Tech Saquon.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think they've just done well with where they had.
I think very average draft, except in my opinion, one of the biggest steals of the draft. I think so many secondary players were overlooked in this draft by a lot of teams. And I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a huge pickup for New Orleans. I think he could even start this year. He's that good. So
they've
got
that happens. The 2 safeties, the B-Tech Saquon and Gardner-Johnson, can learn off Lattimore. And I think they'll be, if they take in everything he does and everything he tells them, they'll be 2 really strong safeties in the future.
The Falcons. We had pick in the first round with Chris Lindstrom.
That was another one when we were watching, who?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a feeling he might go first round, but I definitely didn't expect the Falcons to take him at 14.
I just thought it was odd.
Yeah, a definite reach there. But obviously they saw that as their major need and didn't want to risk him dropping. So
yeah, this is where I had
fair enough.
Cleveland and Farrell going, I think. So
What, at number 14?
Yeah. But yeah.
I think it was just a weird pick.
Yeah. But do you think, I definitely agree with their sort of view that keeping Matthew Ryan upright was the highest priority. Stopping him getting sacked as much.
Yeah, it was.
100%, because Matt Ryan can produce.
The Carolina Panthers, who in my opinion are another sleeper for one of the best drafts.
Yeah, I think they took a very good player, like 16 in bounds. And also taking Greg Little, which and I just of course having Will Greer as their kind of backup, I think was very smart.
And the thing with Will Greer as well is they're very cleverly. He's literally from Charlotte, so they've literally picked a Carolina Panthers fan, and they know that because of that, if he does get the chance, he's going to step up his game more than what he would for any other team in the league.
Yeah, and I think taking him at 100 is a very good pickup because I rate him highly.
I would probably say he's the fifth best quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say around that number.
They've got him for when Cam Newton, when he scrambles, takes a big hit. That's what he's there for.
Yeah, he's there for the next play.
Yeah, pretty much. When Cam Newton eventually gets injured from running, or when he gets older, because running quarterbacks, I think, age faster. Yeah. Eventually they can't run. And then their game's gone. I think they've got him there to kind of fill in once Cam Newton is kind of like I've had enough of this.
Done.
In a bit. See you later.
Adios.
And then
James doing his Spanish revision.
yeah. They also managed to get another pass rusher other than Brian Burns, and they managed to get Alabama, Christian Miller. Obviously, he played in the national championship game this year. He's been part of a winning program for a while now. How much of an impact do you think that makes on the players if they come from a college with a good winning mentality?
Very important.
I think, it is.
Just knowing how to win, I think, obviously. Even take the
even if because most of the good players are going to teams who obviously had the worst records last year.
Yeah,
I think it's the want to win rather than the know how to win. Because he'll come in and be like, or any player from Alabama will come in and be like, I want to win again, and that drive will push them to perform better, I think.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots are the example of just the winning mentality.
Yeah,
I think that's what does it for them each year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Last team in this division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Shout out Daniel.
Yeah, he was going to come on but couldn't. Unfortunate. He's not died, so we won't do it.
Hope to see you back soon.
Yeah.
No,
He's only got exams.
No, I think overall they didn't have a good draft. But I mean, I think they picked up a good player at 5. I thought Devin White's a very good linebacker.
Yeah.
I
don't think they had a good draft or a bad draft. It was the definition of average. I think they just took who they sort of had to with the first rounder. It was like Devin White was there, they had to take him.
Yeah, I think he's very good.
Especially when the Raiders didn't take him.
Yeah. They took Matt Gay in the later rounds. They definitely needed a kicker, so they hope that he works out well. I mean, kicker's a very weird position because I don't know. Do you think if you need a kicker, they're worth taking in a high round, or would you just do what the Bucks have done here and wait till the much later ones?
They're never in demand. They're never like a high pick or something. So
if you need a kicker, what sort of round would you start looking at?
Well, they took them later rounds, unless there's some star that's not there. But
just take
Harry Kane.
I was gonna say, just take Harry Kane.
Yeah, of course.
Get him undrafted as well.
You could. I was not
let's
Harry
go.
Kane.
Let's go,
Tesco. I was more thinking.
First injuries, to be honest.
I was thinking you could probably take decent kickers in free agency, like undrafted.
Yeah. Undrafted, you can still get a good kicker. Yeah.
Well,
bit like undrafted
players in general. I mean, we've seen quite a few in the last few years, undrafted players who've came up and just became instant stars. Obviously, the most notable one being Lindsay last year.
And also,
so definitely look out for the undrafted players.
Yeah, because then one of the best wide receivers in Thielen was undrafted as well. So I'm pretty
Finally, then the NFC West.
Yes,
starting with the Rams.
Yes.
What do you say about
they didn't get picked till 61, did they?
No.
But they did make a very good pick at 61 with Taylor Rapp from Washington.
Yeah, good safety. I think this is another one with the picks they had. I thought they done well with.
Yeah.
Same as James, really.
James, I know you watched. Was it Last Chance University?
Yeah, it was just about
how good of a story was Dakota Allen going in the 7th round?
Yeah, I think this. I love it. The fact that he's been drafted, and I think they picked up a good player that late. Because obviously where he came from, it was hard for him to really be a top team. Even though Texas Tech aren't that bad, but. I'm very happy for him, and I think it's a very good story, and it shows never to give up. Really.
Do you think he'll make the roster?
Hard to say. I don't know. I don't know too much about what he was like for Texas Tech or anything, but you could tell in the Last Chance U, Netflix series, that he was very good.
Why have you've just given Netflix a shout out on a podcast which gets 5 viewers?
Well, I mean,
a multi-billion
I mean,
pound dollar
I'm trying
company.
to. I mentioned Sainsbury's. I mentioned Netflix. I'm trying to get you brand deals.
To be fair, Netflix, if you want to sponsor,
I also mentioned.
it's never going to happen.
I also
but-
mentioned that Sainsbury's was very good. So Sainsbury's shout.
Yeah, of course.
And Tesco.
Other than that,
Let's go.
they took David Edwards in the 5th round, tackle from Wisconsin. Shout out David.
Just Dave.
Yeah, just Dave. The Seahawks.
Oh shit, we're moving on.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
the Seahawks took a very interesting 1st round again when they selected LG Collier from TCU.
Yes, sir.
Hang on, sorry.
Yeah, I was surprised with this one because I didn't.
Just yes,
I didn't have them going first round. Don't know too much about them.
They had loads of picks. Jesus.
They did indeed,
Yeah.
but
they had one of the least at the first, like at first as well, but they traded back so much.
yeah, shout out Daniel.
Do you think DK Metcalf's a steal, or do you think that was a fair placement for him?
Fair placement.
Yeah, I think the combine overhyped him way too much. I still think he's a good wide receiver, but I think he went behind the wide receivers that he should.
Just because he's the perfect, in perfect condition to play football, doesn't mean he's going to be good at football.
I saw he arrived at his first ever meeting with the Seahawks, literally without a top off.
Oh yeah, the Seahawks guy had the top off as well.
Yeah, and Pete Carroll got his top off as well. But
it was one of the scouts that told him to take his top off.
Do you think he'll actually start for the Seahawks? Because they made it sound like he's actually going to be starting for them.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be very happy with taking him at that stage because he is obviously very good and he's physically ready. So
yeah. Next, the 49ers.
Quality pick at number 2.
Yeah, I think they took the best player in the draft.
Yeah, I don't know if have you seen Nick Bosa's Twitter or Instagram?
Nope.
He's very pro-Trump, but
I did know that, but I mean, this is football.
Very
Edison
pro-Trump,
likes Tommy Robinson.
Ignoring that.
Yeah, well, that did not happen. No, but obviously, yeah. Well, half of America, literally half of America, were pro-Trump during the elections, and they were all retards. But, I mean,
very true, very true.
No, but obviously, you're not going to pick someone based on their. Because obviously, going on the elections, half of them were Trump. So I mean.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, purely based on football,
you
could
best.
even argue Nick Bosa's the best footballer.
I think he's the best.
Yeah,
I think
maybe just behind Quinnen Williams.
The fact that his brother was a first rounder only a couple 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, well,
I think helps.
Do you think it helped that he didn't play at Ohio State this season and he quit to just train in NFL conditions with his brother?
I think yes and no. I think no because he might lose a bit of sharpness and stuff, and like that.
Yeah, he's not getting the game.
He's lost that.
He's not getting the game.
Very important.
Yeah.
But I think training full time with Joey Bosa, who's also very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's just an NFL player. He's one of he's a very good one.
And then, do you think the 49ers were also right to take a wide receiver with both of their next picks in the 2nd and 3rd round, where they took Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurts?
I was surprised they took Deebo Samuel that high.
Yeah, I'm surprised they took the 2nd one because they've got Kittle and Garoppolo should be back.
Yeah,
I think they definitely needed one.
They needed one. I don't think they needed 2.
Mm-hmm. Finishing with the team who had the number 1 pick, then the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, well, I think with Kyler Murray, before the draft.
Do you think there was ever any doubt once it was he announced he was joining the NFL draft that he was going to go number 1?
I think there was no doubt after kind of the comments that the Cardinals GM made a couple of years ago,
the head coach, Kings.
I just seen. Yeah, so before the MLB hype kind of switch, thought Haskins was the better QB, but I can see Kyler Murray being a bit like kind of Mahomes, kind of that very skillful quarterback that can make things happen when it looks like done. But
yeah, definitely.
I think they're centering themselves around them I think. And I think they took a very good player, like in Byron Murphy at 33. So,
Mm-hmm.
And
they'll be happy.
assuming he could have went to any team in the league, are the Cardinals the best fit for him?
What, Kyler Murray?
I think they're a good fit for
Yeah.
him. I think he'll
yeah.
enjoy it there.
With the head coach wanting Kyler
Yeah.
Murray, I think a huge effort is going to be put into around building that squad for him. But what they're going to have to be careful about is they don't cater to him too much and get what we all thought was the Pittsburgh situation where everyone believed the entire franchise was built around Big Ben. I know that's a while off, and it sounds stupid, but they can't just give him everything they want because eventually he'll own that franchise, right? And like he makes all the calls, which you don't want.
Yeah.
I know it sounds daft.
Well, that's all the teams then. I guess to finish off, I'll just ask you who won the draft.
If I had to pick one, I'm going to go Broncos as like the number one.
Okay.
With the placement of their picks and like who they got for that.
Yeah.
But there's like mention to the like Redskins, Packers, I think, and Giants. Oh wait, yeah.
I'm gonna come around to your house and hit you.
Hey, love you too. I mean, I think you can admit that you guys didn't really do very well. I mean, actually, you didn't do that bad, like in terms of the plays you got, but I mean, just the way it happened.
Yeah.
Don't banter.
I'd have to say the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly because they took the players that I wanted.
Yeah. Fair.
About 3 positions after we.
What do you think, Joseph?
Yeah. I was also going to say the Redskins, but I think just as an outsider pick, I think Carolina had a very underrated draft. They filled a lot of needs and took a lot of very good players who are going to be there for a long number of years. So, shout out, fair play to Carolina. Maybe we know someone who might be supporting them soon. You never know.
I think you should.
That's a future podcast coming up.
Especially with that picture of McCaffrey that came up.
Oh God,
what is he?
Look, like fancy now, what the hell?
No, I fancy Barkley.
Nah, have you seen him, mate? Look at McCaffrey now. I don't know what sort of like program he's been on over the summer, but Jesus.
I actually look like that.
Oh, yeah, let's move on.
Yep.
Move on to what?
To say goodbye, just getting out of this. The pain that we're going through with Adam.
What?
Okay.
Pain. It's what I look like.
Disclaimer.
No, I don't.
He's close.
Not in the face. In the build we are, but we look completely different face-wise.
I think you both go to the same steroid place.
Yeah, we must. I think I've seen him down there as well. Somewhere in Killingworth.
I think you look so similar.
Christy McCaffrey came off.
Adam, you're about as similar to him as Daniel Jones is to Zion, so I mean...
They're both tall. Daniel Jones is like 6'5".
Yeah. Actually, let's just wrap this up. Cause,
right?
Yeah.
We're doing that usual
We do this every time.
We do it every time.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks to you two for coming on, and thanks to everyone for listening.
Thank you very much, Joe.
I keep forgetting to say this at the end, but I should probably start now. We're on YouTube as well now, so like and subscribe as well, sharing the actual podcast. Yeah, Adam's the only one so far.
Yeah. How are you, James? Right, thank you very much, Joe.
Okay, adios.
Adios.
Didn't know you did Spanish.
Of course.